Sanje Joda Soke Chanjo Bardo Dane Japsu She Dage Jinso Jebe Sonam Je Dola Benjir Sanje Dubara Isho Sanje Joda Soke Chonam Lo Chanjo Bardo Dane Japsu She Dage Jinso Jebe Sonam Dola Benjir Sanje Dubara Isho Sanje Joda Soke Chonam La Chanju Pardo Dani Gyapsu Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjir Sanje Dubara Isho Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tejam Dathagato Yavatat Tejam Chayo Niroda Evam Bhati Mahashramana Yeswaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tejam Dathagato Yavatat Tejam Chayo Niroda Evam Bhati Mahashramana Yeswaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Niroda Evam Bhati Mahashramana Yeswaha I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. The Foundation of All Good Qualities, page 42. The foundation for all good qualities is a kind of perfect guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a bubble. We remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues come and follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is a draw to all suffering. Please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, great question arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so fall my migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma, especially inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, Please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, thus to whom Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing true attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pleasures of my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it in long lives, and please bless me to pacify completely all inner and outer hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the quality of stages of the paths, may could attain the spirit of Vajratara. Okay, we will read Emptiness Dependent Origination, I think page 208. Page 208. Now, this is all compilation from the various sutras and various the Indian masters' commentaries, and also from Tibetan masters' commentaries. Gift of Youth Ratna Sutra. Manjushri, whoever listens even with doubt to this teaching on emptiness generates much greater merit than a bodhisattva who, lacking skill in means, practices the 6 perfections for 100,000 eons. This being so, what need is there to say anything about a person who listens to this teaching without doubt? What need is there to say anything about a person who imparts the scripture in writing and memorizes it and also teaches it thoroughly and extensively to others? The Treasure One thus gone Sutra. Any person who possessing all these 10 great known virtues enters into the teaching of selflessness and has faith and conviction that all phenomena are from the beginning pure of true existence does not go to a buried birth. Chapter on Subduing Devil Sutra. If any bhikshu realizes that all phenomena are absolutely pacified of inherent existence, and the beginning of defilements is devoid of self-nature, will remove the guilt of having defilements and make unstable the defilements, thus deeming even the immeasurable negativities dysfunctional, let alone the secondary wrong done associated with ethics and rituals. Arida's 400 verses on the middle way. Those with less merit will not even have a doubt in this Dharma of the ultimate reality. Should any inquiry ever arise in someone, it will shatter samsara into pieces. Acharya Chandrakriti's entry in the middle way. Even as an ordinary being, when hearing about emptiness, if one experiences with an utter joy again and again, tears flow from such a pure joy most in one's eyes, and one's hair stands on end, one has the knee seat of the wisdom of full awakening. Upaledi Questa Sutra. The various delightful flowers blossom, and the sparkling supreme golden abodes stand so alluring. For none of these is there a creator, they are posited by the power of thought. It is through conceptualization that the world is imputed. Bhikkhuni Vajira's utterance in the Fundamental Vehicle Sutra. The mind is demonic which views as true self. You have a wrong view. These composite aggregates are empty. There is no being in them. Just as one designates a card in dependence upon a collection of parts, so as a conventional sentient being in dependence upon the aggregates. Venerable Shavara's writings. Searching for reality through space, one finds not a periphery nor the center. All perception cease completely. Likewise, through a thorough search of mind and phenomena, one finds not even an atom of essence, since the searching mind is not found. Not seeing anything is seeing the reality. Saint Sara's writings. By entering into emptiness but devoid of compassion, one will not find the supreme path. By meditating upon compassion alone, one will not attain liberation but remain in samsara. The one capable of grasping the unity of the two will not remain in samsara nor abide in personal nirvana. King of Concentration Sutra. Just as in the dream of a young girl, she met with a boy and saw his death. Joyous was she at the meeting and in anguish at his death. View all phenomena as thus. Arya Nagarjuna's Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way. Ceasing karmas and afflictions leads to nirvana. Karmas and afflictions arise from conceptual thought. These arise from mental elaborations grasping a true existence. Elaboration ceases by or into emptiness. Neither the aggregate is no different from the aggregates. The aggregates don't depend on him, nor is he dependent on them. The Tathagata does not possess the aggregates. What is the Tathagata? That which dependent originates is posited to be empty of independent existence. That being dependent is designated, this is the middle way. Since there is no phenomenon that is not dependent originated, therefore there is no phenomenon that is not empty. Arjuna's precious garland. If the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not air, not space, not also consciousness, not all of them, where is the person out of those? Just as a person is not truly existent because of being an aggregation of the 6 elements, each element also is not truly existent as they are aggregations of their own constituents. Dharma Sangiti Sutra. Form is like a mass of form, feeling is like a water bubble, perception is like a mirage, mental formations are like plantain trees, consciousness is like an illusion, so taught Surya-mitra. Arjun's commentary on Bodhicitta. Those who understand this emptiness of phenomena, yet also conform to the law of karma and its results, that is more amazing than amazing, that is more wondrous than wondrous. Arideva's 400 verses on the middle way. When dependent arising is seen, ignorance does not occur. Thus, through all efforts, strive to find this subject. His Holiness the 7th Dalai Lama's Rincha retreats, a song of the 4 mindfulnesses as guided the view of the middle way. At the crossroads of the 6 collections of consciousness, that with diverse perceptions, are seen the hazy dualistic phenomena which are baseless. Thus, the magically show that is by nature deceptive. Don't believe them to be true, but view them as having the nature of emptiness. Don't let your mind go astray, but place it in the nature of appearance and emptiness. Through not losing mindfulness, hold it within the nature of appearance and emptiness. The sphere of appearing and existing phenomena is pervaded by the space of the ultimate clear light of suchness. There's an ineffable ultimate reality. View this nature of emptiness through abandoning the mental contrivances. Don't let your mind go astray, but place it within the ambience of reality. Through not losing mindfulness, hold it within the ambience of reality. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama's pray for proliferating the Dhamma the land of snows. Venerable Marbalo Zawa, Shebe Dorji, and so on, the host of the precious Kagyu, the sources of blessings, the chain of the unexcelled masters of this outstanding tradition, to you all I pray, may the Buddha Dhamma the land of snows blaze forevermore. All phenomena encompassing samsara and nirvana are but the radiance of spontaneous awareness. The awareness itself, devoid of elaborations, is realized in the nature of Dharmakaya. Pervading all existences and appearances of samsara and nirvana is the great Mahamoudra. May the Buddha Dhamma of the land of the snows blaze forevermore. Arjuna in praise of Dharmadhatu. Impermanent, suffering, and empty, these 3, they purify the mind. The Dhamma that is unsurpassed in purifying the mind is the lack of intrinsic nature. Concluding prayer in Lama Tsongkhapa's commentary in Arjuna's fundamental wisdom of the middle way. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Aramajishri and be able to uphold the Dhamma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even across my life. Shire Heruga, Shire Heruga, Shire Heruga. He is the selflessness of phenomena, the emptiness of the mind, which is also everything, as it is imputed to be of causal nature. Ru is the selflessness of person, the emptiness of self that is fabricated by the web of conceptual thought that grasps at the self of person. Ka is the ultimate reality, the absence of dissonant duality of the subject-object. Shri is the non-dual exalted wisdom that abides in congruence with the emptiness of the object. This is the meaning of Evam. Deata Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasam Gade Bodhiswadhyata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswadhyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswadhyata. Okay. Yesterday we were reading from page 1 to 7. 1 to 7 so thus far what is the according to the text, the point where we reached is where you manifest, you experience the subject of clear light. Let's say very lucid, like the transparent glass as a mind with the nature of the clear knowing. So you manifest it, and your job, once of course it'll take time to experience that. Once you experience it, then you have no other practice, just to still the mind in that experience. Relax your mind, just keep observing it, like getting command over this empty hall, and just keep observing it. So with this, then the next one. This point is what here in the text is known as Tato Kompa. Here is the meditation. The meditation meaning single point of meditation to manifest the clear light. So once that is done, then seeing the view, or searching for the view. The view meaning the emptiness of this subject of clear light. But before this, it employs to understand the ultimate reality of the person first. So followed by the emptiness from the subject of clear mind. So whatever is the case, since that to manifest, to experience the subject of clear light, it's not that easy. It requires a lot of the factors, but of course we need to know these things, and then later on somehow of course with so much of the inclusion of the prayers, and then in this life whatever can be done to make sure that your life, even if you say you're working in a corporate world or whatever, so whatever you do it as clean as possible. Clean meaning that your mind is not affected with anger, attachment, craving, jealousy, and so forth. Try to minimize that and lead a life as closely with the Dharma as possible. So whatever you're doing is fine. Your work, so teaching, or let's say in the corporate world as consultant, or as an employer, whatever is fine. But but don't simply see that, okay, because my colleagues, they are doing like this, into the corruption, fighting for promotion, I will also do. No, it doesn't mean that you don't have to you don't have to go for promotion. This is not a connotation. So where, say you deserve it, go for it. There's nothing wrong in it. Particularly good people should be on the higher position. Good people. Because the good people on high position, the people who are so associated, who are dependent on you, they can greatly be benefited out of you. Because if you're not there, somebody else is going to be there, and that person, how much problems can be created for other people. So this is the point. So what I'm saying is that try to lead a life as closely with the Dharma as possible. In other words, number one, be kind, be wisely kind, be skillfully kind. If this is what happens, then the tendency is that your life will naturally be in line with the Dharma. When you're kind, naturally you will refrain from doing bad things, and you'll render as much help to others. This is what happens naturally. So the kindness, compassion, and that too, not just compassion, kindness in the worldly sense, but the way, the manner in which is taught in the text, extremely profound. No matter what, I'll stick to the integrity. I'll stick to integrity, not because not because this situation, so there's no choice, I have to, cite this direction. No. Where the truth, where somebody is suffering, we must be there. This is, in other words, just imagine what if the Buddha is in this situation, how will the Buddha take the situation. So this is how we have to learn. Okay, this is one thing. And then also learn how to observe your mind. Learn how to observe your mind when you're with. Well, first, even if you go for a party, it's fine. Just go there and then just observe your mind. Observe your mind. how the mind behaves. Okay. So with this, this one part, and then let's say that experience of emptiness, experience of the clear light, subject clear light mind is dawn. Whereas till that point, we do know that we have the mind, and at least try to see your mind. Although we may not be able to experience the full version of the clear light mind, which is described extremely clear, pure, and so forth. But at least that you know that what your mind is, which is non-tangible, the non-tangible in the form of experience, which is which holds the central the central aspect of the whole universe, the most important thing of the whole universe, the mind, which decides I'm happy, I'm not happy, and so forth. So, with this, so as taught here, first try to see the emptiness of this person, and then see the emptiness of the mind in general. And then later on, when you're able to activate this clear mind, then see the emptiness of the clear mind. Okay, this is how we have to progress. Okay. So with this, we're reading again. Let us turn to page 125. Recognizing the ultimate reality of the mind. Let's say the mind, the ultimately the emptiness of the subject clear mind. Page 125. Okay, and so for that, in progress. Initially, just the emptiness of the person, emptiness of yourself, the individual. Then move to the emptiness of the mind in general. Then move to the emptiness of the clear light mind. Okay, recognizing the ultimate reality of the mind. As for the way to introduce the reality of the mind, I will record the oral instruction of my Guru. He is the pristine wisdom of all Buddhas, who assumed the aspect of self-enrobed monk and removed the darkness of my confused mind. From within that very state of earlier equipoise, where you are meditating on the nature of the mind, from this equipoise, investigate intelligently with subtle awareness. So, without wavering from this experience of the awareness, and one part of it, corner of the mind, a very subtle awareness, part of it, just analyze the nature of the individual, nature, not the essence, the nature of the individual, nature of the person. Individual here is the person, nature of the person who is meditating. How do you do that? Just like a small fish that moves in lucid waters without causing disturbance to the water. Like this, employ the part of your mind to examine what this self is like, the nature of the self like. So what kind of examination? Nagarjuna himself stated in Precious Garland, individual or the person. So on this one, what is added here? We have a similar translation which we just read here, 208. Okay, it is it's just 211 in English. 211 here. So the translations may vary, and you can eventually go for one translation. And of course, the translation should be good. Even though the very precise translations, still they can vary in terms of the usage of the vocabularies. So here what we have is on this book, 211, it reads, if the person is not earth, if the person, so here the individual is not earth. Okay, if the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not air, not space, not also consciousness, not all of them, where is the person out of those? Okay, this is what we have here. Likewise, then second verse reads, just as a person is not truly existent, because of being an aggregation of the 6 elements, each element also is not truly existent as the aggregation of their own constituents. Okay, so what is the most important thing is that number one is that it should be a correct translation. Then the translators when they translate, if both are very good translations, then translators, they have multiple skills to see the meaning there, not just words, meaning there, and the translator could feel the meaning and pick up the words. Choice of the words are such to reflect these meanings. It depends on the translator's experience. So they say, for example, here the word is individual, here the word is person. So then, which resonates more with you when you read this? But in French, there's no choice. It's the Venerable Chimbala's translation, right? Yes. So what I'm saying is that, so where there are many choices, first you have to double check that the translation is accurate. Then from the 2 or 3 choices, you have to see which resonates better with your thought process. And then as your experience of emptiness grows, keep checking the 2 or 3. And then when you gain some degree of confidence, okay, this is emptiness, this is how I feel, this emptiness, and then you look at, and then you will be the right person to decide, okay, this is a better translation. Although the wordings are, although the accuracy is there, accuracy in the words are there, but in terms of the experience, you could feel it. Some translations, you can feel you read it and you could feel the flow inside. Some translations, their interaction is so rich, but then nothing really effective within you. Okay, these differences are there. So it reads here, the individual is not here. The last line, page 125, from this book, from the handout that you have. The individual is not earth, not water, which means the self, the person, you. I'm not earth, not water, not air, not space, not fire, not consciousness. It's not fire, it's not wind, not space, not wind. Wind is not a good translation. Wind is not a good translation. Many people translate it as wind. This is not a good translation. It should be air is better. Air is better. Because let's say that so here in this room there's no wind, but there's air. So likewise, we they say even in Tibetan it is known as lung. Lung can be translated in both ways, air or wind, and it can also be translated as energy. So we have to pick up the right choice of the word according to the context. We have to know so translators, they have heavy responsibilities. It's not just look at the dictionary and then translate. No, the translator, first of all, you must gain command of what it's saying, what the original author is saying. Okay, so then many people translate that this is not a good translation. It should be the same, the air. And then in the context of the Tibetan medicine, you have many people translate it as wind problem. Wind problem. Actually, it's like energy problem. It's not like a wind, because wind is English word. In English, it means very differently. So as far as possible, if there is the better choice of the words, we have to go for these words. So energy problem. It's not like a wind problem. So when I speak of the 4 elements, so yes, the earth, water, fire, air. Earth, water, fire, wind. Some people translate as wind. It's not a good translation. Okay. Wind is not space. It's not awareness. Awareness or mind or consciousness. So these 3 are used synonymous when we borrow English words to mean the Tibetan word namshe. It is not all of these. Yet what individual, what person is there other than these? Without these, what is that person as I? So you meditate on emptiness of this I. So which we used to do every morning, right? So this morning we did the emptiness of the flower. Otherwise we should do the emptiness of the self. That you subject the self to ultimate analysis, go close to the self, the skin, the fatty tissues, the muscles, Then the cartilages, the bones, heart, lungs, all that. None of the solid parts constitute element. They got none of the solid parts. They constitute element of the earth, and element of earth is not the self. Then the water, then the fire, air, then space and consciousness. So none of these. With the ultimate analysis, we see that none of these is the self. Stay in this experience. Different from these is the self. No. From the object. From the object, different from this is self? No. Then from the object, where is the self? Then you feel that it's vacuum. It's not really there. Stay in this experience. It does not mean that the self is not there. It simply means that the self does not exist in the eyes of the ultimate analysis. But the self does exist. How? It exists in the eyes of the conventional analysis. Conventionally, yes, the self exists. Everything exists conventionally. Okay, this is how we have to analyze the emptiness of the self. Once that is done, then we move to the emptiness of each of the elements. Element earth, water. So yesterday we did that. Say the elements. So we may say that, okay, although the self is empty of objective existence, but the 6 elements are there. No. Even the 6 elements, if you subject them to the ultimate analysis, likewise, they will disappear. So, for example, yesterday what we did was that we picked up the part of the element earth, which is the skeleton, which we said is very scary to look at. But it is the skeleton in reality. Through ultimate analysis, we see there is nothing but made of cells, bone cells. And bone cells are made of cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. And the nucleus is also made of DNA molecules, the chromosomes. Chromosomes made of DNA molecules, and the molecules made of atoms. In other words, we see it's just made of atoms. So, with the ultimate analysis, you see that even what you see as a skeleton, very scary one, is nothing but made of the atoms. And which the atom is to be seen as objectively the self. Not at all. And different from the atoms, not the self, as the skeleton, which is the atom of the atom, which constitute the skeleton. Is the skeleton? No. And different from these atoms is their skeleton left. Remove all the atoms. Nothing is left there, skeleton. So the skeleton is not to be seen as one with or different from the atoms. So where is this skeleton from the object? From the object, there's nothing there to identify as skeleton. Stay in this experience. Okay, this is the meaning of the second verse, which reads, just as the individual or the person is not real because it is composed of the 6 elements, likewise the elements themselves are not real because they are themselves composite of the smaller parts. When having investigated according to his statements, you find not even an atom of the equipoise. I said, even the equipoise meaning your meditative mind. So how do we do this? The practitioner doesn't find the person. The person, you can go in 6 elements. What about the mind? How do we see the emptiness of the mind? How do we see the emptiness mind? How do we subject the mind to the ultimate analysis? How? Not in the form of 6 elements, because mind does not have 6 elements. 6 elements means earth, water, fire, air, space. They're all related to the physical. But the mind is purely metal. It's not with the mind. So for the mind, equipoise here, it says, when having investigated according to his statement, you find not even an atom of the equipoise. So here the equipoise, okay, by the way, let me check the Tibetan. Yes, Nyamsha, Nyambura joking. So for this equipoise, then how do we do with the mind? So finally we should be able to see the emptiness of the mind, emptiness of clear-eyed mind. So for that, this mind, this mind does not have the material parts, but it has temporal parts. It has temporal parts, meaning it has parts in time. For example, let's say, oh, okay, this retreat I really enjoyed. This retreat I enjoyed. What? 7 days. The 7 days retreat, which means it has 7 parts. The first day, second day, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. 7 parts there. The first day has 24 hours. Again, the first day has 24 parts. The first hour has, again, 60 minutes. So these are the parts. These are the parts in time of the mind. These are parts in time in mind. The parts of the mind in time. These parts are known as temporal parts. Temporal meaning in time or of time. The temporal parts. So, a job is, let's say for example, at the moment, last time, I don't know, but some of you were totally missing there during that time when we did this exercise on the gong. Like this. When we just feel this present moment, I am experiencing the sound. I am experiencing the sound. When you say that I am experiencing the sound, that's the present moment. That present moment, and this present moment, yes, you could feel it. Undeniably, you can feel it. The present moment. So this present moment again is our time. Time should necessarily have 3 components. You remember? 3 components meaning 3 parts. Beginning, middle, and end. So the time can be divided into as many components as possible. So that not only just intellectually divided. Yes, first we have to know that intellectually know that the mind can be divided in time. Right? Say this retreat, I enjoyed this retreat. 7 days. 7 days is not that you enjoyed all the 7 days together in 1 day. No. The first day finished. Then second day came. And the remaining days are yet to come. Then the third day came. The second day finished. And the fourth day is yet to come. So this is how we experience. And although we do get a feeling that, I enjoyed this 7-day retreat. But in actuality, there's not one moment to say that this moment I enjoyed the 7 days. Because the 7 days do not exist in one moment. It exists just in parts. And our mind bring all this together and say that I enjoyed the 7-day retreat. This is how we did. So in actuality, what I'm saying is that our mind should learn how to feel that. Okay, 7-day retreat, yes. Then the first day of the retreat, yes, I've enjoyed it. The first hour of the first day of the retreat, yes. First hour, not the second hour. Okay, the first session, and they say 1.5 hours, and not the break time. Not the morning, the meditation session, just them. So you should be able to sit in this particular, the experiential, feel that. And then the first hour, the first session, which is 1.5 hours, it has the Yedharma mantra recitation part. That is only about like maybe 10 seconds. 10 seconds. So you should be able to feel that. 10 seconds. Not shorter, not longer. And within that, when we say, this part. Again, when I'm saying this, I was not saying, Ye Dharma is yet to be said. So this time, just we should be able to stay in this experience. Stay in this experience, very short. Not shorter, not longer. Just that, very, just precise. And make it shorter. Intellectually, experientially, make it shorter. So this is how we experientially see the temporal parts of the mind. Temporal part of time. Once you know how to see the temporal parts of time, then you can see the mind in this time. The mind also, the temporal parts. So with this Just as when you see this, the self in the form of the 6 elements, the self dissolves. When you go to touch each of the 6 elements, separate from 6 elements, nowhere you see the self, and you get if you get no, of course, with this, the self will not be there. If this is what you feel, no benefit. Whereas if you just go one by one, okay, element earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness, or separate. So that's how we go one by one, and then think about the self, which is so important with respect to you. What is this? It simply dissolves. It dissolves through this analysis. Then you'll feel that you might get a feeling of a tinge of a fear in you. A tinge of a fear can come you. Or in some cases, say with this experience, the tingling sensations flow through your body, or cold waves can flow through your body. In some cases, a very profound feeling can come to you. Very profound feeling. Extremely profound, tranquil feeling which you never experienced before can come to you. And where you could physiology would feel that the turbulence of the physiology is subsiding, which you never experienced before. You thought that it was just normal. Now you realize that it's subsiding, and you said, oh, there is acutely the pin drop silent peace. You will feel that. Okay, when this happens, you are on proper track. If it doesn't happen, don't worry. Just continue to go for extensive studies, reflection, and it will happen eventually. But if you just rush through, to say, oh no, I know, none of these parts is the self, then different parts is the self. If this is how you do, you will never experience emptiness. You will never get this benefit. Okay. Once you do once you do with the self, then you move to the mind. Mind, you will learn how to see each temporal segment of the mind. You learn how to see that. Don't just rationally go, no, mind can be divided infinitely, the 1 millionth of the second. If you say like this, you will never experience the emptiness of mind. And of course, the emptiness of mind to experience that is even more scary. Initially, more scary. And once you get a feel of what emptiness of mind is, number one, and number two, that while you establish emptiness of mind, still you can account for the functionality to the world. You see that it is not contradictory with the conventional world, the functionality of the world. Then incredible great ease will come to you. Incredible great ease will come to you. Okay, so when that happens, then you shift it to the clear-light mind. For that matter, you have to activate the clear-light mind first. Okay. So with this, we continue reading this. When having investigated according to the statement, you find not even an atom of the equipoise. Okay, even a tiniest of the part of the equipoise meditative state, your meditative mind, and the practitioner, you as a practitioner, one who meditated, who enters equipoise, the one who enters or who instead of enters, it can be like one who is in the equipoise state. Enters means in the process of going into the meditation. No, so these are all the nuances. One who is in the meditative state, sustained. Okay, so at that point, when you see the emptiness of the self as a meditator, emptiness of the meditative mind or the equipoise, at that point, you will try to then sustain this space-like emptiness. So, emptiness in a loose sense. Emptiness is classified as space-like emptiness and illusion-like emptiness. In a loose sense. Space-like emptiness and illusion-like emptiness. So, of the two, a space-like emptiness is a real emptiness, and illusional emptiness is not emptiness. Illusional emptiness is the post-experienced. post-experience of the emptiness meditation. Okay, I'll explain each one of them. That when you experience that, the self dissolves into emptiness. So sustain this experience. That is known as space-like emptiness experience. Stay in this space like the space-like experience with emptiness. Single-pointedly and without distraction. Just try to experience that. And for the beginners, of course, in the first place, to get emptiness is difficult. Even if you get it, it's extremely the fleeting experience. It just comes and goes, disappears. It will not be in your hand. And then you do it more. More you practice, and try to sustain that experience, the space of emptiness. Try to sustain it. Then gradually it'll be longer with you. It'll stay longer with you, longer. As it stays longer, then over time you'll gain some command, or whenever you like to have this experience, it will come. Whenever you like to have it, again it will come. Otherwise, initially, it may say with the same analysis, with the same ultimate analysis, it may come to you just very briefly, like a split of a second. And the indication is that you could feel, these bodily reactions, and instantly disappear. Okay. So you try to sustain it. Then the next, moreover, is not moreover. It is or. It's not moreover. This is the problem. It is yangna. It's not yang. Yang is moreover. Yangna, Tibetan word. Yangna is or. Option. So option is given. The first option given is that in this experience you try to meditate on emptiness of the self. You try to meditate on emptiness of equipoise. So this option is given. Then the next part is directly meditating. The second option is directly meditating on the emptiness of the subject clear light mind. So it says, or from within the state of equipoise. So while you're in the equipoise, various objects appear, and probably the nuances there in the translation, and I was trying to fix it. The nuances of the translation, so that later on I'll give that to you, and you can also because the English voice is very good, but then the beauty of the English is not sufficient. First, accuracy to the meaning, accuracy, and overall meaning is good. Overall meaning is right, but there are nuances there. So if you don't see the nuances, then yes, you'll just get a table. You'll not get the beautiful artistic table. So the Penja Losang Shugen's text is so artistic. It is full of meaning there, and every nuance is there. So for this, the translation, it should be extremely nuanced. Okay. Or from within the state of equipoise, various objects appear and proliferate in this non-obstructing vacuity that is not established as material form. I say it's a full stop. Actually, it's not full stop. It is not full stop. Let's say comma. And what it says here, thus far, what it says here is that in this experience of the vacuum, because of the empty hall, empty room, anybody can come. A cat can come, bees can come, human being can come, good people come, bad people can come. So with this empty experience, so where the thoughts have not invaded yet, in that experience of what is that? The vacuum state. That's your mind. That's your mind empty of the thoughts. Any thought can arise. What do you mean? Any thought? Like the appearance of the flower can come, appearance of the compassion can come, appearance of anger can come, appearance of bad people can come, appearance of good people can come, appearance of emptiness can come. Anything can appear in this vacuum experience. Now, it's not established material. Of course, that experience is not at all material. It's non-tangible, non-material. Comma, not full stop, comma, which is, okay, so I have the... Okay, which is instead of non-obstructing continuum, which is uninterrupted continuum. Uninterrupted continuum. This is the nuance. Look, non-obstructed and the uninterrupted, these two are different. Non-obstructed meaning a solid thing is obstructing you. Whereas the uninterrupted can be even with the water, or let's say with the mind, is uninterrupted. So uninterrupted continuum. Continuum. Okay. Uninterrupted continuum. Okay. Which is the uninterrupted continuum of the mind. Mind that flows continuously as clear and knowing. Okay, full stop. This mind is sort of the conceiving mind. Instead of that, this mind appears to not, sorry, that's it, as clear and knowing, full stop. Okay, let's say, and this mind appears to not rely on anything else and is apprehended as such, as thus, is apprehended as thus, is apprehended as thus, comma, which is said to be deceptive, by the protector or the benefactor. By the benefactor, it should be Gumbo. Yes, by the benefactor, Shantideva. Then in Shantideva. Then in the bracket you can write guided bodhisattva of life and the following verses. What is called a continuum or collection is false or is deceptive. Is false or no need to remove this, but give an option. False, underline it, and write deceptive. See whichever word is more powerful in you, you can use that. Whatever is called a continuum or collection is false or is deceptive, in the same way as are a mala, an army, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to explain this now. In the earlier passage, two options are given. Or, instead of moreover, or. Options are given. The first option is that begin with the meditation on emptiness of the person with the 6 elements, which involves physical and mental both. Now, here is not about the physical, it's all directly with the mind. Mind into what? How do you see the emptiness of the mind? Mind see into what? Into what parts? Parts like what? Temporal parts. Temporal mind can be divided into the temporal parts or the parts in time. Parts in time. Okay, is there anybody who can tell me what do you mean by temporal parts? Or what do you mean by passing time? Anyone? Yes, Cyril.
It's like chunks of time, 1 second.
Say it again.
It's like chunks of time, like 1 second.
1 second. Or like a 1 second. Very good. Yes.
When you have a beginning, a duration, and when you have a beginning,
Okay.
duration, and an end.
Okay. So when say but let's say what Cyril said is that, say, if you speak of 1 minute, it is 60 seconds. Each of the seconds, these are the temporal parts. And what Patrick is saying is that, say, as long as something is a time, it should necessarily have 3 components: the beginning, middle, and the end. And these 3 are the temporal parts. Yes. So you can see that in many ways. For example, say 1 year. 1 year in France, you have all the 4 seasons. All the 4 seasons. Okay. Where you have 4 seasons, each of the seasons, they are the temporal parts. Temporal parts may not be very tiny. It can be like 3 months. It can be even 1 year with respect to 1 millennia. 1 millennia is like there are 1,000 years. So each of the year, they are the temporal parts of the 1 millennia. So this is how we can see the temporal parts. Okay, good. So what it says is that, or from within the state of equipoise, again, from within the state of equipoise, your meditation of the awareness, the awareness. So this awareness, now describing this mind, which is seen by your awareness. That mind is the one where objects appear and proliferate. Proliferate meaning that, that for example, in the empty mind, the mind where is empty of the thoughts, then let's say that one thought comes, then you keep ruminating over it, and then the thoughts multiply. Many more thoughts can come. Okay, proliferate in this non-obstructing vacuity. So there's no the physical obstruction there, and it's the vacuum in nature, in which the empty of the conceptual thoughts. That is not established as material form, and this the experience, the object which you experience, that is not a material object. Okay, now which is insert full stop. Which is the uninterrupted continuum. So let's say that this morning, let's say you meditate on this awareness, and then experience this awareness. So this awareness is a mental consciousness. This mental consciousness, it continues like it moves like a continuous stream which never stops. For example, say since you're born. So this mental do you agree with me that since you are born, your mental consciousness, not sense consciousness, they, when you fall asleep, they shut down. When you wake up, they arise. But your mental consciousness, whether you are in sleep state, waking state, whatever, the mental consciousness continues like a stream. Do you agree with me? This is so important. So when you speak about rebirth, this mental consciousness which flows like a stream without interruption, that is the one which is going to take rebirth, not your this sense consciousness. Okay, so that is the uninterrupted continuum, not non-obstructing. Non-obstructing has a connotation like, say, the flow of the water is there, and you put a wall there, the wall obstructs the water. But uninterrupted flow is not about the material thing which is blocking it. It's like the sense consciousness. It's not that the external wall has to stop it. When you fall asleep, it interrupts. It is interrupted when you fall asleep. Whereas the mental consciousness is never interrupted by any force. It continues. So, uninterrupted continuum. And the mind, the continuum, what did you say? Is there anybody who did the
mind that flows continuously as
the mind? Also, this mind with the mental consciousness, that mind that flows continuously as clear knowing. So this mind, how does it flow? It flows in the nature of the clear knowing nature, which is the description of the mind. Then the mind appears, and this mind, which you have now manifested as the awareness of the awareness. So this mind, which you are aware of, with let's say the subject clear mind, the subject clear mind, which you have manifested, this subject clear mind, this mind appears. So now, when you look at this mind, for example, the flower. This morning, what emptiness did we do? On the flower or the person? This morning.
we meditate on the
Emptiness of flower. Or the person? Huh? Flower? Flower, okay. Let's say this morning we ask, how does the flower appear to you? How does the flower appear to you? As mental projection? Or like a dream, your mental projection? Or as so objectified there? Likewise, this mind that you feel, just see how this mind appears to you. As objectively real? Or your mind is creating, like a dreaming mind. Is this like a dream created by your own dreaming mind? How does it appear? No, it appears so real. It's so real. Okay. So, this mind appears to not rely on anything else, not rely on the imputing mind. This mind is seen to be existing so objectively as independent of the imputing mind, independent of another mind imputing it. It's so independent there. Okay. Not rely on anything else. Okay, now this is the anything else. And apprehended as thus meaning, and apprehended meaning that your mind, this is your mind, the subject clear light which you have manifested, this mind, and then when you observe it. So now look, there are two minds. The clear mind, which is manifested now, and from the corner of the mind, you just observe this mind. There's observer mind and the observed mind. Let's say that there are two things for easy understanding. Then when this mind looks at it, how does this mind, the subject clear mind, it appears to you? This mind, observer mind, it appears as not dependent on any other factors, not rely on other factors, so independent, so objective. And not only that it appears like this, but we see this, we believe that it exists as truly real. That is the self-grasping ignorance of this subject clear mind. Okay, so with this awareness, not rely on anything else, and apprehended thus. Apprehended meaning that you view this mind, subject clear mind, as thus, as not dependent on other factors. This is the ignorance. Okay, you have to identify this ignorance. So, this mind, Bodhisattva Shantideva said, it is deceptive. This is faulty. This is deceptive. It says that the apprehended as thus, which is said to be deceptive. This mind, which views the subject clear mind as object truly real. So that mind, the observer mind, which views the subject clear mind as object real, the observer mind is said to be deceptive by Bodhisattva Shantideva. In the text, Guided Bodhisattva of Life, that in bracket is not there in the text. Okay. So, how is it deceptive? How is it deceptive? Okay, this is very important. And I may get time to explain this for the NCC. I'm not too sure. Today and tomorrow, 2 more sessions there. If not, I'll explain this here. Okay, how is this mind, this conceptual, the observer mind, observing this subjective clear light mind as truly real, independent real, not relying on any other factors. So how is this observer mind deceptive? This is very important. Okay, so one very easy way how I explain this is that the first we explain this on the basis of a usual mind, a usual meaning a normal mind, not a very precise subjective clear light, and then you should be able to extrapolate it, extend it. This reasoning which I'm going to explain to a normal mind, to a day-to-day life mind, and that you should be able to apply to the subject clear mind. How do you do that? How do we see the mind as subject real? Is that, okay, how many of you in your life felt that life is very difficult? Resents. Oh, the life is difficult. Resents. Particularly when you're on the verge to go to college. Right? Which college? I want the best of college. I'm not getting it. Very difficult. Right? Then I want promotion. Right? There are so many competitors. Like only one seat, 50 people are there. Right? I wish I know my father knows this CEO of the company. Right? So there you see the life is recent. Those who felt that at least once in your lifetime, the life is very difficult. Okay. Listen, those who never felt that life is difficult. Okay. Okay. So let's say that when you say that, oh, the life is difficult. Who is saying this? You are saying this, your friend is saying this. Both. You also said it. Your body said it, your mind said it. Your mind felt it. Your mind felt it. Your mind felt it. The life is very difficult. Right? Your mind felt it. Okay. So I'm sure that your mind felt that my life is difficult. Yes. Okay. So let's see. This is so important. You must be able to apply this to say we're discussing about life. And the life is difficult. Yes, very difficult. Sometimes it's fun. Right? And then you see that there's a room somewhere. There's room somewhere. From there, you could also see there's some kind of discussion. Okay, you see you could feel that there is somebody there. Somebody there. So we're discussing something very interesting, and the person did not get the opportunity to listen to this, right? And you go there, you knock at the door. How's your life? He said, it's very difficult. The life is very difficult. Oh, the poor guy, I'm very sorry. What can I do? You open the door. The life is very difficult. There are 8 people there. And he said, your life is difficult? No. Who said that my life is difficult? No. It's full of fun. I'm always Kalachakra. Right? I'm so happy. And the second person, it must be you who said that your life is difficult. No, I didn't say this. Who said it? Who said I said it? No, I didn't say this. I'm very happy, Kalachakra. Right? So that way, none of the 8 persons said that life is difficult. And then you feel little, okay, so what happened? Am I going crazy? Right? Okay, then you said, sorry, you came out. And again, you would discuss about life. Then, again, from the same room, you heard that the life is difficult. right? And then I take a sadhana with you as a witness to see if you really hear. Hey, how's the life? Life is very difficult, right? I said, did you hear it? Yes. I'm not hallucinating. You're not hallucinating. Yes. This really. And you get in. And you ask, are you okay? Your life must be difficult. No, who said I told you I'm very happy in Kalachakra. Right? All of these 8 people said I'm. And then I said, are we hallucinating? No, I heard it. Then you brought everybody with you. Again you heard the same thing. How come that you're hearing this if nobody said it? Okay, the first person said, da, finished. Second person said, life. And the second person's life is fun. Right? Life is fun. But life, he said very loud. The first person said, da. Second person said, life. Third person said, is. Then the fourth person said, an. Fifth person said, hai. Sixth person said, pi. No, what's that? Life is very. Then the next person said, di. Right? Di. The next person said, fi. Right? Next person said, cult. Right? There's so much cult happening. Right? That's it. Nobody said it. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say that when Tyola will say da, then Thomas will say life. Ajala will say is, ve, re, di, fi, and the Sen will say cult. You getting it? Okay. Let's all listen. From the outside, you ask, how's your life? Da.
Life.
Is the re
Di.
fi cult.
What did you hear? The life is very difficult. You heard it, right? Undeniably you heard it. You come inside, you ask, well, your life is difficult. No, who said it? Right? What did you say? No. D. I just said D. I didn't say, who said that my life, I'm very happy? Nora, you must be difficult. No. Read, that's it. You read, that's it. Okay. So, but you ungenerally heard it, right? Again, you must be thinking that I'm crazy. I'm going crazy, right? Okay. You go out, and again.
Life.
Is the re fi cult.
The life is very. Again, you heard it, right? How come that? Who's saying this? Who's saying this? How come that nobody's saying this and somebody's saying it? Who is that? It is your mind. That these 8 different segments of the mind, your mind, put them together, make it one entity. And you interpret that to think that somebody is saying the life is very difficult. This is how your mind plays on you. This is how objectively when you go, nobody said it, but subjectively you heard that somebody said the life is very difficult. This is how your mind works. Your mind, there are 8 moments of the mind within you, like the 7 to 8 different people within your mind. The first moment of the mind said da and left. Then second moment of the mind came and said life and left. The remaining moment of the mind is yet to come. And the third moment came and said is and left. The remaining moment is yet to come. And the next moment said ve. And the next moment, again the first 5 moments gone. Next said re, left. Then di, fi. And the last moment of the mind came and said cult and left. Right? No one single moment of the mind said my life is difficult. But you, the self-grasping ignorance, combines them all together as one entity, as though like they're so independently there, not your mental projection, and then read it as, my love is difficult. And then you feel, instantly, what's the feeling? When you say, okay, when you say, I'm hopeless. Okay, let us all say this, I'm hopeless. Say this. Hopeless. Don't say, I'm hopeless. All right? Say it, I'm hopeless. So when you say, I'm hopeless, what's the feeling like? Feel low. When you say that, oh, the life is beautiful. Say this with the hands like this. The life is beautiful. What's the feeling? Pleasant feeling. You're getting it? So when you say that, yes, that my life is difficult. When you say this, the accompanying feeling is sad and heavy. So this says, then somebody comes to that, you will not be like this, you will be like this. Because you said, my life is, because you interpreted these 8 moments of the mind put together and interpret that is to say that my life is difficult. And what is the accompanying feeling? Unpleasant feeling comes to you. This unpleasant feeling drags you down. Drags you down. So this is how we see the mind as objectively real. So whereas when you see that, when you go towards the object, you see that only 8 moments of the mind. None of the 8 moments of the mind says that my life is difficult. None of the 8 moments said it. And these 8 moments, they do not arise simultaneously. They arise sequentially. So, sequentially when you look at these moments of the mind, no mind felt my life is difficult. So, simply, your self-grasping ignorance, it views these 8 moments of the mind, put them together, give one unit, create a unit, and then made you feel that my life is difficult. And because of that, a feeling, accompanying feeling becomes very heavy. Okay, so whereas if you go into the object, then just the 8 moments. And none of the 8 moments is the mind which felt, my life is difficult. So objectively, you see that the mind which felt, my life is difficult, it simply disappears. Stay in this experience. And instantly you will feel the upliftment of your mind. Okay. This is what is said here. Say that, okay, my life is difficult. They are like, as well like the 7 beats, 8 beats are connected together. What is this? Mala. So what it says here, what is called a continuum or a collection is false. In the same way as the mala. You see this as a mala. You're getting it? If we put all these beats without the string, we'll not say this is mala, this collection of beats. But this is a mala. So this mala is what? Is this mala the first one? No. Second one? No. There's no mala there. But then your mind puts them all together. And your mind, creates an entity known as a mala there, appearance of the entity mala there, and you believe that there's a mala there. This is how the mala per se is just the beats. It's just very deceptive. So for example, one example is, okay, I remember so vividly when I was a young child. When was that? It was like 1984. Maybe most of you are not born. Thomas was not born. Right? Petru was not yet born. Right? Petru is not born. Thomas was not born. And Maya born, not born. 84, not born. 84, Maya. Not born. Huh? Okay. And David not born? David, right? Your name? Your name? David? Edward. Edward not born? Huh? Are you sure?
Thank you.
And Vionik not born? Not born. Huh? Not born. Then I was not yet born. Okay, so 1984, I think it was 84. It was the Russian Olympic. The last closing ceremony. Anybody remembers the closing ceremony? Anybody remembers that Russian, they like in 1980s, somewhere in 84 or somewhere, in 80s, I'm not too sure which year. In the 80s, the Russian Olympic. So the what do you call it? Logo, not logo. It's the calisthenic. It's the exercise calisthenic performance and they create all these different designs. And the logo for that at that Olympic was a bear. And like a teddy bear. And like thousands of people who are doing the exercise calisthenic. And then from there they created the bear, and it was closing ceremony, which meant everybody was together for like maybe 10 days or whatever number of days together. And now they're dispersing. It's a very sad moment. And the bear was, shedding tears. And everybody literally became so emotional. Right? You see the entity, there's a bear who is like the symbol of that Olympic, that particular year's Olympic game. And then that bear is shedding tears, the blue tears going down like this. Tick, 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 tick. And all the spectators, they become so moved. Many of them are crying. Okay, so is there a bear there who's crying? No. There are like maybe 2,000 people there. And these people, they're so nervous. They have no time to cry. They're so nervous that a performance may go wrong. Right? And then the one person showed this, the blue shield, like a blue shield like this, and the tears goes down, and then you hide the blue shield, and the next person down, again was a blue shield, and the spectators get the impression that the tears falling down, tick, 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 tick. And you become so emotional. Why are you emotional? What made you emotional? And then there's somebody crying. There's no somebody there. All these people are nervous. Right? It may become bad. I think that was during the communist USSR. It's not Russia, it's USSR. Which means if they go wrong, they are in problem. They may end up in prison. They have no time to become nostalgic. Right? They're afraid that it must go properly. Okay, nobody's crying. But people become so emotional. Why are you emotional? Somebody's crying. Nobody's crying there. It's your self-grasping ignorance projects somebody's crying there, and that affects you, make you to become emotional. It's not just this. This is what is happening to all of us. All of us. Every moment is what is happening. There's some performance atoms, they're performing the job. No atom is worried about you. No atom is crying. When you leave, your mother cries. Actually, no, there are a bunch of atoms there. They're doing the job. Some atoms, they secrete, and the atoms, the molecules of water, just, hey, push. And then you see us, my mother's crying, right? My son is crying, my daughter is crying, husband is crying, wife is crying. Actually, the atoms, they're busy doing the job. Yeah, and you interpret that as, your self-grasping ignorance interprets that as, somebody's there, object there, who is crying for me. Right? Okay, so this is how things work. Okay. So the more details, then, okay, that makes total sense. This is how things are. So we just exaggerate so many things. And how to precisely meditate on emptiness. So the manner in which, yes, okay, so what I'm saying is, Bodhisattva Shantideva said, like the mala, an army. The army meaning thousands of soldiers there. Thousands of soldiers there, we call it as army. But the individual soldiers, they are not army. So likewise, thousands of the athletes or the performance, calisthenic performance. But the performers are there, thousands. And none of the person is this bare. It's bare just what your mind imputes. And you go to the object, the bare dissolves. It is empty there, it's not there at all. There's no bear crying, right? When you go to this object, from the subject you see a bear shedding tears, tick, 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 tick. From the subject, from distance you see that. But if you close up, you just see the individual who must be sweating, sweating and doing the job, right? So likewise, the individual, for example, somebody who's crying, just you go into the atoms, then some of the molecules are busy squeezing the water there, and some molecules, they are busy coming out, right? And nobody's actually worrying, right? Objectively, there's nobody there who is worrying. Objectively, even the water is also not there. What you call the tears is water. The water is nothing but the combination of the H2O2 hydrogen and one oxygen atom. That's it. Oxygen atom is not water. Hydrogen is not water. It's not water. On that level, again, even though water doesn't make any sense. On objective level, nothing makes sense. Nothing really exists from the object. It's all exists from the subject. But it doesn't mean that then the whole world is totally meaningless. No. Objectively, the world is meaningless. Subjectively, the world is full of meaning. Subjective meaning, but dependence. By dependent origin, by dependence on other factors, yes, things exist. Independently, there's nothing existing. Because independently, nothing exists. Therefore, things exist dependently. Dependently, things exist. Dependence on the virtues, happiness arises. Depending on non-virtues, miseries arise. So there's infallibility of the cause and effect operating, infallibility of law of karma operating on the subjective level. So we cannot evade, run away from you cannot say that, nothing makes sense. When you say nothing makes sense, you fall into nihilism. So this is what Arya said. The one who realizes emptiness and yet conform to the law of the karma. This is the amazement of all amazements, and this is the wonder of all the wonders. Saying that when you see emptiness, and then because of seeing the emptiness, that nothing exists objectively, everything exists by dependence on other factors. So other factors, depending on which your happiness arises, they are so important. Other factors dependent on which your miseries arise, they must be removed, eradicated. So this infallible, law of karma, when you see that by seeing emptiness, that is a person who actually understood emptiness, and this is described as the amazement of all the amazements and the wonder of all the wonders. Okay, so in other words, by seeing emptiness, your respect for the law of karma should increase. By seeing emptiness, by you thinking that you saw emptiness and law of karma, your respect for law of karma diminishes, you fall into nihilism. Okay, this is so important. Okay, so before we go further, so we have 3 more sessions. So 2 more sessions tomorrow. In case today we can do 1 session, that's one good. The additional to the NCC, right? Okay. So if you have 1 or 2 questions for the fine-tuning meaning how precisely to meditate emptiness, we'll try to get it during the NCC. If not, then tomorrow is the last day for the teaching. So then we will try to 1 class after NCC tomorrow. So they will try to do a little bit of fine-tuning fine-tuning how to meditate emptiness, precisely how to meditate emptiness, because this is, it requires some steps there that you don't miss the steps. This is very important. Okay, 1 or 2 questions we have. Okay, yes.
Yes, your example about the beer, So some people will be crying,
Yes.
get a lot of afflictions, but some people not.
Exactly. Some people not. Again, the atoms, Some atoms, they're not moving. They're not squeezing the H2O. Right?
So what's the process?
So, objectively, there's no process.
From the subject side, that
Yes.
some created the karma to be afflicted and some not.
Okay. So basically, some people, they are very emotional. And how some people, emotional means, are you weak? It depends. Some people being emotional, some can be because the person's weak, emotionally weak. Some people can be extremely emotionally strong. So let's say that okay, say somebody who is, let's say 35, and you say, oh, you look like 34, right? Wow, thank you. You're very happy, right? So, if this is your mindset, your mind is weak. You are easily fluctuated even by the word. Say, somebody's like, say, 35, actually 35, and you say that, okay, you look like 29. Then if you say, oh, thank you, that's okay. That's the big compliment. But 1 year, what's the difference? You look like 34. You're so happy, right? So where your mind is easily fluctuated, say somebody gives you, you're nice. You are so excited, you're so happy, whole day so happy. This is so weak. Whereas, and then so happy, then you start crying. Another person, when you see that Russia-Ukraine war, ceasefire happens, right? You put so much effort, you prayed, you try your best, and the ceasefire happens. And all who say they lost their house, everything, with the help of the aids from the other countries, the UNO, they built up, reconstructed. You could imagine the pain of each of these millions of people. You could feel the pain, and now you see that all these millions of people, they are restored. They are so happy. Their healing takes place. You feel this. Earlier, so much compassion, felt intense compassion, and now you see that they are so happy. Then you start to cry. This is not a weakness. This is your strength. Simply because somebody cries doesn't mean the weakness. So for some, it can be because of the weakness. For some, it can be because of strength. So that we have to see accordingly. So there's what is happening is that your mind which also doesn't exist truly. This mind, which is extremely compassionate, that can affect your physiology. Your physiology affects your biology. So all these things, they affecting the brain, and brain commanding the tear glands to secrete tears. So this is how the psychology affects your physiology. The physiology affects your brain, and brain commanding the muscles to secrete the tears. So this is how it is happening. Yeah. Whereas for somebody, oh, your mug is broken. Oh, you feel, you just whole day, go, no, my mug is broken, right? This is where your thinking is too weak. And this weak thinking affects my mug is broken. You feel so sad. That mind affects your physiology. The physiology affects your brain. The brain commands the, hey, now somebody's weeping over the loss of the mug. Hey, you have to secrete the tears, and the tears secreted. This is how it works. Yeah. Whereas for somebody who is thinking about how I wish that the Ukraine-Russian war stops and all these people who are displaced, they come back, their house, their place, everything's restored, their parents, children, they meet. And when it actually happens, you're so happy, you cry out of, you start to cry. So this person will not cry when the mug breaks. Will not cry, it's fine. You'll get alcohol by another cup, right? Otherwise I can drink here in this. What did it matter? So these people are very strong. Okay. Cyril.
Yes, I have a question. There is only subjective existence, so things exist subjectively. So it means you said also it is mental projection. So is it, with respect to the law of karma, so causality, etc., does it mean that there is no external object out there, like, for example, some planets that no one knows?
Okay, this is a good question. Are you doing basic program?
Yes, I'm beginning the basic program.
Good. Okay. So the question is that if it's purely subjective, no objective at all, then we talk about the universe. And in the universe, there are so incredibly great number of world systems which we have never seen. So do you mean to say they are non-existent? Because we have not seen that. If it's purely subjective, then there should be no object, and if the subject has not seen it, then it should be non-existent. Do you mean to say all these world systems which are unseen by the human beings on the planet Earth, are they non-existent? This question. Okay, let's say that this is how the mind works. The first, let me logically explain it. Then after that, after logical explanation means that you will not, still, you cannot debate against me, but you will not be happy. You are not convinced, experientially. Then how to convince experientially? That's the second step. The first step is logically. Logically speaking, we speak about, you said that, there's all this huge universe. We don't know what is there. But there should be something there. When you say there should be something that we have not seen, right? What our eyes could not see, but your mental consciousness could imagine that. Right? For example, you have never seen your lungs, but you know that your lungs exist. That is through inference. Although you're not seeing it, but you know its existence. So subjectively it knows. So there's a subject. To say that something exists, it is not necessary that your eyes, the subject should be your eyes. To see it is not necessary. And other subjects also there. So when you say the whole universe, which consists of the seen, the world, the universe, the world system seen, and the world systems unseen. When you say that, unseen world system, your mind already projects it. Who's saying this? Your mind is saying this. The subject object, the subject. Your subject is already projecting the unseen world systems. So this is how everything's still there. Although the visual, the consciousness does not see it. This is how logically we can explain it. Now experientially, what is important? All these questions will continue to be there. Your mind will never be happy, no matter how logically consistent the answer is. Your mind will never be happy. Experience something inside, you will not feel convinced. So how to be convinced? The first only threshold, the first entrance for all these questions is that you have to get some experience that the flower that I'm seeing in front of me is just projection of my mind. Forget about all the other things. First, the flower. Flower, or yourself, your body, or yourself, the table. Just pick up something. You must be convinced that this doesn't exist the way it appears to me. So this is purely but the projection of my mind. This you must have the experience. Then you apply this to the other things. How Nagarjuna taught us. Firstly, the emptiness of the self. Okay, the self is not there, but the 6 elements are there. Even the elements also, Nagarjuna taught it, that they also don't exist objectively. Then you go, you say 2 ways. One, horizontally. One, in the depth. Meaning, horizontally meaning that, okay, this flower, this table, this house, Sencom, the world, then the solar system, the Milky Way galaxy, the universe in time. So that is in space, now in time. To the 15 billion years ago, the singularity, we started the Big Bang. So, and then the dinosaurs, age of the dinosaurs, unicellular organisms, and the dinosaurs, then Homo sapiens, and then go into the future. This one, how you see in the broad length. Then the other one is going to the depth. That, for example, the flower is not objectively real. Then the cells, they don't exist objectively real. Then the nucleus doesn't exist. Then the chromosomes, DNA molecules, atoms, electrons, protons, neutrons. Just go subtler. This is how you go into the depth, how you go into the width. So you do both. And gradually you will get a feeling that all what is happening, all what I'm seeing, experiencing, nothing really exists objectively. This will come to you. That must be for experientially speaking, if you want to get the answer experientially, this is the minimum qualification. You must get this. With this, then the answer will come to you automatically. Even this law of karma, efficacy of law of karma, cause and effect relationship, unseen, seen, all these things, they fall under this category, subjective reality. Even the unseen is also subjective reality. Seen is also subjective reality. So this will come to us experientially. So for this, first you have to get some glimpse of emptiness. Without this, no matter how much you ask, you will never get the experientially convincing answer. Logically consistent answer you will get. Yep, good. Patrick?
We speak about art. Je peux parler en français. On parle du temps, de l'esprit en tant que partie temporelle de l'esprit. Pourquoi est-ce qu'on ne parle pas de partie spatiale de l'esprit? Puisque l'esprit peut être dans 2 endroits différents en même temps. Par exemple, on pense à l'Ukraine et en même temps on pense à notre situation à nous. Donc l'esprit peut en même temps être en train de s'intégrer dans l'expérience de ce qui se passe en Ukraine et l'expérience de ce que nous vivons.
So the question is that, why do we speak only about temporal parts, about mind? Because mind could be also divided in
Space.
Like when we think about Ukraine, for instance, and our situation now, so it seems that our mind is at
two positions, two space. Good question. Thank you so much. Okay, the question is Anna, and who else? Ajala, you heard it, because the Venerable Jimbala's voice is too nice and soft. Anna, did you hear the question? Yes. And who else? Anna, Ajala, you heard it. You were next there. Who else? That's it. Huh? You speak French?
I do, but he was talking to my too slow.
Huh? Okay. So you did not even hear what Patrick said?
Not entirely.
Okay. Fine. Then let me repeat this question. And Patrick, you tell me, and Jimala, you tell me if I got the question correctly. The question is that for the mind, for the body, for the person, for the body, we can speak of the parts in the context of the, say, dimensional parts. Dimensional parts meaning, say, okay, my part, left side, right side, this is space, in space. So for this, the person and for the body, you want to speak about the parts. The parts can be spatial parts in space. And also parts in time. For example, say, okay, me 20 years ago when I was very young. Me now in my 50s. Me if I don't die untimely, then me in 70s, 80s, 90s. Okay, in time. So what has a physical body can be thought of its parts in space and in time both. Whereas for the mind, we talked only about the time, not in space. So the Patrick's question is, why not space? Because when we speak about, the people are suffering, there's so much pain in Ukraine. What is pain? Pain is a mind. Mind in Ukraine, which is many kilometers, 1,000 kilometers from here. And the mind which empathizes the pains of the Ukrainians there. So minds of the French people in France, empathizing the pains of the Ukrainian people in Ukraine. So these two minds are in two different locations, physical locations. So why not we speak of the mind in terms of its parts in space? Because mind exists in space also. Okay. Anybody who can help me? Okay. Yes, Laura.
Well, I think that scientific instruments have not been able to measure any sort of material substance to the energy that is the mind. So we can only talk about it because it's non-substantial in terms of temporal parts. We know it has temporal parts, but we don't know if it has substantial parts, for sure. So that would be my...
Okay, so Laura is saying that the mind does not have the parts in space. It does not have special parts, right? Okay, anybody else who likes to help me?
I have doubt about this question.
So meanwhile, anybody who gives me the answer, make sure, don't look at my face, right? That don't look at the face means that simply because I give you the face of, endorsing. Wow, right? Don't be happy with this. The Patrick should be happy. Okay, yes.
No, I have thought about this because we said the mind and the winds are one nature, but the winds somehow we can situate them somewhere. So
you're in support of Patrick.
Yes.
Okay, so Patrick, the Venerable is supporting you, right? Okay, is there anybody who can help me?
L'esprit est capable de projection, voir de façon proche, ici, le parquet, les fleurs, les personnes, et à un peu plus loin, la cuisine, Magali, et encore plus loin, mais ce sont des projections, un fonctionnement qui dépasse l'ici pour aller là-bas. Mais il reste un.
Mind can project what is there. We can just see the floor, the flowers, etc. We can also, our mind can also project things that we don't see now, like Magali, the kitchen, etc. And also farther, we can go farther, but still mind is one.
Good. Okay. First, Isabelle.
Quand on pense, quand on voit l'Ukraine, quand on visualise l'Ukraine,
peine et du malheur, et que l'empathie, c'est un petit instant après. C'est-à-dire que on ne peut pas faire les deux en même temps. Donc c'est dans le temps.
Okay, so when we think about Ukraine, then we empathize, so it's sequential. We don't do the two things at the same time, so it's temporal.
No, temporal 100%. But the question is whether it has the special parts in time. It has temporal, no doubt. But does it have the special parts in space? Okay, next, Guillaume.
L'esprit peut envisager le présent, le passé et le futur, mais il peut aussi envisager des localisations, plusieurs localisations en même temps. C'est-à-dire que c'est croisé avec le passé, présent et futur.
So mind can think about past, present, and future, but also different localization. So it's kind of mixed in one sense.
Okay. Okay, this is, let's say, Guillaume, let's say that, okay, I'm in France, I think of Tibet House in Delhi. Do you mean to say that when I think of Tibet House in Delhi, I'm in the Tibet House in Delhi or not? My mind? Not. It's not there. Although I'm thinking of Tibet House in Delhi, but my mind is not there in Tibet House in Delhi. My mind, not me, my mind. Is it or is it not? It is not. So my mind is in France. So it's localized. This is in a space. Is that what you're saying? Okay, Sen, no. How no? Yes. Sen.
Pour moi, c'est pas localisé. L'esprit, c'est là-bas, c'est que son esprit l'esprit est vaste, on va dire, dans l'esprit vaste. Il y a une partie de l'esprit est effectivement habitée.
Mais il n'a pas de localisation spatiale. So one as a mind has no location, special location. But when we think about Delhi, our mind is in Delhi as well. Some part of our mind is in Delhi.
Okay.
De space.
Okay, let's say that okay, so one thing that we need to know is that when I'm here, my mind could see all what is happening around here. And then my mind can think of Tibet House. Yes, I can think of Tibet House, but my mind is not there. Because that, if you ask me, what's the Secretary of Tibet House doing right now? Right? I cannot tell you. Whether he's in the office or he's outside office, I have no clue. Right? I just think of it, that's it. Whereas here, if somebody asks me, where is Zen? Is she sitting on the floor or on the chair? I would say she's on the chair. I can say this very precisely. So this is indication that the mind, whether the mind is here or not, but we say that the mind is seeing, really seeing it. Whereas I'm thinking of Tibet House is more just imagination, conceptual idea, just conceptual thoughts. It's not really seeing what is there. So the mind is not there. So if the mind is in France, if the mind can be in place, I would say my mind is in France, not in Tibet Delhi right now. So this is what we need to bear in mind. One. Okay, this is one part. So still, I didn't get the answer. Okay, Ben, Robert, right? Your name? Huh? Edward, okay. Robert, Edward, Christian, and Virginie. There are 4 of you. Okay, Ben.
So what would say, if the mind had the spatial dimension, so like
Okay, this is very complicated. This is very complicated. This is a very subtle understanding. Okay, let us listen to all the answers. Yes, Ben.
So if the mind had the spatial dimension, so like the body, we could split it both in space and in time. Right? Yeah. So if you could split the mind in space, and for example, I think about Ukraine. My mind is here. I think about Ukraine. So there's a space between here and Ukraine, so I can split this space in half, and then I have two minds: one here, one Ukraine.
No, this is not what Patrick is saying. Patrick is saying Ben's mind is here, and one Ukrainian person who is terribly in pain is in Ukraine. So that Ukrainian's mind is in pain. That is in Ukraine. And Ben's mind in France empathizes with the pain of the Ukrainian in Ukraine. So these are two minds. Right? So if you split the world into two, France and Ukraine, the two minds will be separated. Yes?
I thought that we were talking about spatial dimension of the mind.
No. That is what Sen brought. That I explained. So we hit the question from Patrick, saying mind in Ukraine, mind in France. One sympathizes, one sympathized. These two are different minds in two different locations. So why not we speak about the mind in the context of the space also? Why only in time? This question. Okay, who's next? Okay, we have first the Edward.
No, I was thinking about when you do more and more Zoom conferences, for example.
Mm.
And I talked to my colleagues in Australia or somewhere. After 30 minutes, 1 hour, I completely lose the notion of where I'm sitting. I'm there because I can see them, I talk with their problems, and I'm inside their conference hall. And it seems to me that my mind is fully absorbed there in Australia, even though physically I'm here. So it's very difficult for me to say that the mind is somewhere located in space.
Okay, is your mind in Kalachakra in France or not now?
No, yeah. Yes, correctly, because
You are in France.
Yeah, because my
No. Okay, your mind is in France. It's located in France right now. It's not in Australia. So therefore, it has a special dimension. Yes? Well, you agree with Patrick. But sometimes we can become delusional. Delusional, where, say, sometimes they say in the daytime you fall asleep, you think that it must be in the middle of the night, right? This is delusional. Delusional. So you're in France, and then through Zoom meeting, your friends are in Australia, and you think that you're in Australia. This is delusional. We have to separate the two. Okay. Okay, Kristen.
I was just thinking that time is a matter in physics that physicians don't have really answer. They put the constant t when they do equation, but there's a mystery behind it. As well, there's a mystery about mind. And I was just thinking that this can be a connection to the fact that the mind is spacious, is vast, and also time is not something that we cannot explain yet.
Okay, so the mind, is it spacious?
Yes.
Does it have space?
It's infinite, I think.
Does it have space?
Yes.
Infinite space. It is space. So it has a location.
Yeah, well, it's in our body.
Does it have location?
Yes.
Okay, you agree with Patrick?
No.
Patrick said, then why not why don't we see the time, why don't we see the mind in the context of the location, the physical, spatial? Why only in time? This is the question.
Well, the mind can travel in related to memory or concept
Also, the car can travel.
What?
Car can also travel. Car, physical body can also travel.
Yes.
So, which means it doesn't mean that it does not have the special. Simply because the mind travels doesn't mean that mind does not have the special or location.
But yeah, that's what
So mind has.
space.
Okay, so you agree with Patrick?
In the fact that there's space.
So you agree with Patrick?
Yes.
I'm seeking help for me. I'm not seeking help for Patrick. Right? Okay.
Si j'ai bien compris votre explication, l'esprit est une continuité d'instant de conscience, si petit soit-il. Je ne vois pas comment une continuité d'instant en instant, on pourrait avoir deux instants présents distants l'un de l'autre. Pour moi, il y aurait une discontinuité où il y aurait deux courants, mais pas un seul. Je ne sais pas trop comment expliquer.
So as you said before, now we can explain mind as a succession of continuum of different instants of mind, whatever small they are. But if we say that there is another one somewhere there, it seems that there are two continuums and not one, or it's difficult to explain how two instances of mind can be different parts.
Of course. For example, if you are here, the Evelyn is there, I'm here, there are three different streams of mind.
Yeah, but
Two minds.
one can become two.
How?
It's one.
No, 1, 1, 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Plus 1, 3.
C'est pas le même.
So it's not the same continuum, it's not one continuum.
No, not all minds are one continuum. So there's one continuum here, one continuum with Evelyn, one continuum with myself. And these are, for example, like my body, your body, his body, they have different continuums. Yes. So it's not that all the minds are the same. Just as the bodies are different, the minds are also different. Okay, Virginie.
It's not what Evelyn wanted to say.
Okay.
Je voulais dire que dans une même personne, avec un corps associé à un corps, il y aurait alors deux continuums s'il y a deux parties.
So what Evelyn wanted to say, perhaps maybe that it could not be for one person one continuum if two instances of mind would be different space.
No, I couldn't follow.
If there's different parts in my continuum, that would mean that two instances of mind will be in different space, so we will have two continuums somehow. That's what she said. Because it's a continuum.
So in one person, there's only one the mental continuum, only one continuum of the mental consciousness. So what's the?
So then, in that case, you cannot have two parts. That's what special part. That's what she would say.
It cannot be in two places at the same time.
Yeah, it cannot be in two places at the same time because it's only one continuum. Something like that.
Okay, so the word the evidence said makes total sense, but the question is that the mind, does it exist in space? This is the first question. Once that is done, then we go to directly, or there are two options. One is the mind, does it exist in space? This is one question. Number two is that, say, the mind, does it have special parts in time? Does it have parts in time? So this, I think, what the I will say, okay, what the evidence said, still people can go with more discussions that although yes, the individual person, the mind cannot be divided into two physically into two at the same time. If two at the same time, then two streams of mind should be there. It's not possible, but people can still argue not necessarily at the same time, at different times. the mind in the body of yesterday and mind of the body of today, these two are different times. In time plus space both. Time and space both. So these arguments are always there. Virginia, you have any idea? You have any question or in support of me?
Parce que dans l'exercice où on visualisait la fleur et on était conscient qu'on visualisait la fleur, on avait l'impression que l'esprit était divisé en deux fonctions, donc en deux espaces. La visualisation de la fleur, la conscience qui est consciente d'être en train de visualiser la fleur. Et donc, on a l'impression qu'il y a des parties, mais moi je me dis que ça peut être des successions d'instants de conscience qui switchent, enfin je ne sais même pas le dire en français, qui passent de l'un à l'autre très très rapidement, mais comme notre esprit est trop bruyant, on s'en rend pas compte. Et donc on a l'impression qu'il y a bien deux espaces, mais en fait c'est deux instants de conscience qui vont tellement vite et qu'on n'est pas capable de le percevoir que ça crée cette impression.
For instance, when we think about the flower, and we have the mind observing the mind thinking about the flower, it seems that we could have the feeling that it's two minds and two spaces. But Vijay thinks that it could be like a sequence of minds that goes so quick. So it gives the feeling that we have two types of mind, but it's only one. It gives the feeling.
Okay, so what Virginia said, it makes total sense. That's perfectly right. But how does it answer the question of the Patrick? What he said is very true. For example, let's say that you think, okay, I'm observing this mind, and this observer, and the observed is the object, mind is the object, mind is the subject. So what can happen is that they say it is like, let's say, that you must have noticed that. Say, so these two hands mixed together, fingers mixed like this, and they say this I paint red, this I paint blue, this I paint red. If I put together like this, and if I move this, you see that the red, meaning everything is just red is moving. And when I move this side, everything blue is moving, right? Because that from distance you will not see that red, blue. When the red is moving, you may feel that the whole thing is red and red is moving. Actually, there is not. It is like, say, they are just one after the first, second, third. So they are all mixed. They are not like one continuum. It's broken by the blue. Every time broken by blue. But from distance we say so like it's just straight red or straight blue. In reality, there's a mixture. Likewise, the mind is observer, mind is object. Mind is observer, object. This is sequential. But overall speaking, we say so like there are two minds flowing, two streams. One is observer and one is observed. There are two flow. There's no two streams flowing. There's only one. It's so fast, it moves like this. Object, subject, object, subject, object, subject. That's perfect. But how does this answer the Patrick's question? This is a big thing. Okay. Thomas?
Can we say the continuum of consciousness is timeless?
Continuum of the consciousness is timeless. Perfect.
Okay. So, second question, can we say time and space exist together?
This is not the question. The question is the mind does it have physical location? The mind, can it be separated in physical the parts?
Because if mind is timeless, if the continuum of consciousness is timeless, so no space, because no time.
No, timeless doesn't mean no time. Timeless means infinite time.
Yeah, but for example, we speak about past.
If you talk about the timeless in the sense of no time, then it's not timeless.
Okay.
It's not timeless.
But if we speak, for example, about past and future, we can just speak. We can't experience it. It's just intellectual. It's in memory. Past is in memory. It's not here. Future is not. It will never happen. Future.
And that's true. But then you are not in you are not in 2022. Are you in 2022?
It's flowing. Yes, but it's flowing.
Are you in 2022 or not?
Yes, I am.
You are in 2022. You are experiencing it.
Yes.
Yes. So it's not that it doesn't exist. It exists. Okay. So finally, the cereal.
Yes, something which is located in space cannot be at two places at the same time. For example, a book cannot be in Paris and in New York at the same time because it is located in space in Paris. However, the mind can be located in two places at the same time.
Oh.
Yes. For example, if I'm dreaming in my room,
Yes.
my mind is in my room.
Yes.
But I'm dreaming of New York.
Yes.
So my mind is also in New York.
Oh.
So my mind is at two places at the same time.
So I've already given the answer to Sen. Right? You are in your room in France. You dream of being in New York. It doesn't mean that your mind is in the New York. What does it mean by your mind is in New York? So when you wake up, I tell you that what is my friend by the name Tenzin. What was he doing in New York now? Then, when you were sleeping, what was he doing? And you tell me that, oh, I dreamt of your friend Tenzin. I was in New York in my dream, and I dreamt of having met your friend Tenzin. What was he doing? So, what time? Oh, he was in Starbucks. Right, we had a chat in Starbucks. Okay, then I called him. I called Tenzin. Hey, were you in Starbucks during this time? Right? He said, no, I was busy with my work. Right, in no place. Which means it was your dream. It was not really, your mind was not there. Your mind was just creating a story. Okay, so the results will stop here. Think more. We'll come back. And in the evening, we'll try to have one class.
Okay.
So NCC is one. After NCC, we'll try to have a class, shorter class. Okay, let's say NCC finishes by 4:30. And we'll have the class at, let's say, the 5:15. 5:15 to 6:15. Right? Okay, we'll think about it. This is a very serious question, and then we'll see what to do with this. Yata Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasam Gade Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha